Hello and welcome to the Private Label Masters YouTube channel. If this is the first time at the channel, I invite you to subscribe and also join our thriving Facebook group with over 5,000 different sellers and potential sellers like yourself, all with the same goal of building our own e-commerce brand. Now, in this mini series, we're talking about how to go about building your own branded product business using the power of Amazon FBA. We've already talked about the process in general, the main 3 steps. And in the last video, we talked about more in depth of product research. Now, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to hit the like button and also to leave a comment below. And I have a special announcement at the end of this video, so stay to the very end so you get to hear what that is. Now it's time to look into section 2 a little deeper, and that is product sourcing. How do you find a good supplier? What are the different criteria of what a good supplier is? And then what are the steps after finding your supplier before you can make an order? So here we are, product sourcing. We're gonna answer your questions such as, how do you find a good supplier? And what are the steps following that? Here we are at section 1, and we see the term here, or the word Alibaba. Now, Alibaba is the premier place for sellers like yourself and myself to be able to come in contact and communicate directly with different suppliers and manufacturers of goods all across the world. There are suppliers from Vietnam, India, and also China, amongst many others. Now, unlike any time in history, we can, from any place that we have an internet connection, be in direct contact with these different manufacturers. Now we see here there are 2 main criteria when it comes to choosing a good supplier on the Alibaba platform. The first one is trade assurance. Now, trade assurance is basically like an insurance policy when you make your purchase through Alibaba. If you'd like to know more about what trade assurance is and how it can protect you and your orders, I put the link down below for a little more detailed description on what trade assurance is and how you can benefit from it. Now, the second criteria that we want to make sure that each one of our suppliers we deal with is a gold supplier. Now, not every supplier on the Alibaba platform is a gold supplier. You have to hit certain requirements with Alibaba to have this crucial badge. Now, if you click both of these, you'll notice that your supplier list will definitely start to hone in on what are the best and top suppliers that you want to be in contact with. Well, now it's time to contact one of these suppliers. That moves us on to section 2 of our first section, communication. Now, there are many different old school ways of communicating, mainly email. And many different ones who I see online on YouTube and different Facebook groups, they recommended using emails and different email templates to talk to different suppliers. Well, think about this. You send an email, you get an email back. You send another one, you get another email back. Roughly, that's 1 email a day most likely. So 10 emails takes 10 days. Now, how much of that information do you think you could get across in about a 15-minute conversation, back and forth through messaging? You see, it's way more efficient and effective. So I do not recommend emailing these suppliers. I recommend talking to them directly. And how do we do so? Well, under each supplier, there is a chat feature in the Alibaba platform. You can message them directly and talk with them. Now, I highly recommend doing this. And then once you find out which potential suppliers that you're interested in, quickly move them outside of the Ali chat feature to one of these 3 other features or chat messenger services. My favorite, Skype, and the other 2 which are very similar, WhatsApp and WeChat. Now, the reason I recommend this is because the Ali chat is very basic and has a history of losing your history. And that is something that you do not want to lose when it comes to talking with different suppliers. You want to be able to look back and see what you've talked about. And that is why I highly recommend, once you find a good supplier or several, move them into one of these 3 other options. All of these options can go on your desktop and also on your mobile devices. All right, so you have talked to a supplier, you've made sure they fit the 2 criteria. Now it's time to section 2, order a sample. Now this is exciting. We're getting further and further in this product sourcing process. Now, a few things when it comes to samples. We need a sample because we need to look at it with our own eyes in our own hands to see if this is a product that we want to bring to market. Never just go off of a supplier's word or just a picture that they send you. especially when it deals with sending hundreds if not thousands of dollars to purchase a product. Now, how much is it going to cost you to have a sample express shipped to you? Well, I want to make sure you don't have sticker shock when they talk to you. That's why we see here standard size products, which are typically smaller, are roughly $30 to $75 to send you a sample. Now remember, this is all the way from China or from another country, and this is express shipping, so it takes roughly 5 to 7 days. It's not cheap. It's not like shipping somewhere from California even to New York. Remember, this is international shipping. So don't be surprised when they say even your small product that you're looking at is approximately $30 to $75 to ship to your house. Next, if you're looking at larger items such as oversized products, be prepared to spend between $100 to $250 plus to have express shipped a sample. So again, these are normal prices. Don't get sticker shock when they tell you what those prices are. And in fact, they may even ask you if you have your own DHL or UPS account. What I recommend to you is asking to use their account, and you can PayPal them the amount. Next, we have ordered our samples from our different suppliers so we can get them in hand. Let's look at section B. We need to order the sample from different competitors on Amazon. Now, if you saw in the product research video, I recommended not going into a market where you're the only person who's gonna be selling, where you have no idea if it's gonna be a hit or a miss. I highly recommend, especially for your first several products, to go into a market where there are several sellers already validating the market. Find out who the top competitors are and order one of their products. Then after that, we move on to section C, which is time to inspect the samples. We have our samples from our suppliers from Alibaba, and then we have our samples from our different competitors in the niche that we're looking at. Make sure to take your time with this process of inspecting them. Perhaps get a second set of eyes to look at them. Don't get emotional and caught up with the excitement that you just accept whatever it is. Be very detailed with this process. Remember, you're gonna be spending potentially thousands of dollars on this product. As you inspect these products, look to see what are features of different ones that you like. Are there features that you don't like? Is there a way that you can combine different features of these samples to come out with the ideal product? Well, you've looked at your samples and you decided on which one you want to go with. Now it's time to section 3, place an order. Well, before we place our order, we want to look at A. We want to negotiate. None of the prices on Alibaba or that these suppliers give you are set in stone. It's important to negotiate. Try to get the best price for the quality. Now, one tip and a caution, don't just pressure your supplier into the lowest possible price, because you're gonna be working with a supplier for a very long time. Not only that, you do not want them to sacrifice quality just to meet your target price points. So remember, negotiate with them, but if they are holding firm to a certain price, respect that. You want to have a good relationship with your supplier for the long haul, and you don't want them cutting corners with your quality. So now you've placed your order after negotiating with them. Before your product ships, it's important to, as section B here says, inspect. It's time to hire a third-party inspector to come in and examine your goods to make sure everything is as you expected. Everything is exactly like that sample you ordered. Now, this process of hiring an inspector is actually fairly inexpensive in comparison to with an order. To hire an inspection is approximately $100 to $150 per man day, and these inspection reports are highly detailed. Now, if your products have passed this inspection, you're in the clear. Do not skimp out on this section B and just trust the supplier. For $100 to $150, it can save you a tremendous amount of heartache. Now it's time to C, ship your goods. Now there's two options for shipping your product to the Amazon warehouse. You have air and you have sea. Now both of these have their pros and their cons, and we're gonna discuss that briefly. Well, what about air? Well, air is quick. It is fast. It is the fastest way to get your goods in. However, it's expensive and it also limits your product selection. Now, why do I say that it limits your product selection? Well, if you want to do air shipping, you cannot be selling oversized products. You remember the price, what it was to send a sample. Just imagine a truckload of products that are oversized sending by air. It is not feasible. So yes, it is faster. However, you limit your selection to only small, standard-sized items. Well, what about sea? What are the pros and cons there? Well, higher profits. In fact, myself, I do 98% of my products shipped by sea because sea shipping can make what looks to be a non-profitable item, if we were to do air, to making it profitable. However, there are some cons when it comes to sea shipping. First off, of course, it's slower. It takes roughly 30 days on average for your product to ship via sea from China. Also, another con is cash flow. You see, with air shipping, your product gets there between 7 to 10 business days and you're already selling. So that means you do not have to order as many products in order to not go out of stock on Amazon. Well, with sea shipping, you're gonna have to do larger orders, and your money is locked up for a longer period of time. Instead of your product getting there in 7 to 10 days, it's now taking up to 30 days. So keep that in mind. As I was a new seller, I shipped the majority of my products by air. That way I was able to run my business leaner and get my products going quicker, and also the cash flow was faster. But as I've become more of a seasoned seller, I have moved all of my shipping over to sea so that I can maximize my profits, and now I don't have as much of a cash flow constraint. What did we learn in product sourcing, episode 3 of our Amazon FBA Mini course? We learned Alibaba is the premier location to find private label products that you can brand yourself. Make sure to have these 2 sections, trade assurance and gold supplier, checked off as a criteria. When you communicate with your supplier, don't do it by email. Message them directly, and once you find good suppliers, move them over to one of these 3 options for a messaging service. Next, it's time to order your samples. Remember, don't get sticker shock. This is the price, $30 to $75 for a standard size and $100 to $250 for oversized. Finally, order your competitors' products also, and then inspect them all together. Now it's time for your order, where you negotiate the best price. Remember, don't push them too hard. This is a long-term business that you are getting into. Have an inspection done and then ship your product either air or sea. So I hope you enjoyed this section of the Amazon FBA Mini course. I can't wait to bring to you episode 4. We'll get more into once the product is at the Amazon warehouse. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button right now and leave a comment below. Well, it's time for our special announcement. If you've enjoyed our Amazon FBA mini series, guess what? There are more episodes on the way. However, are you interested in learning even more? Digging even deeper into this process of private labeling your own physical branded products? Well, I'm excited to announce the upcoming release of the Private Label Masters course. Now, in the Private Label Masters course, we don't just briefly touch on things and subjects as we've done here. We go even further, as detailed as possible. You will not find one other course online that has to do with private label that is given by a seller who's doing over $4 million every single year, where they detail exactly what they do and how they do it. Well, what will be included in this course? You will be able to look over my shoulder as I find multiple products that are relevant today. See what tools I use. How do I validate them? Watch me live as I do this. You're also gonna learn how I brand my different items. What makes me stand out from all the competition and allows me to be successful in this process over and over again? Who do I use for my photography, my lifestyle images? Who writes my listings? Who designs all my logos and my product packaging? In this course, I will also share every single one of my contacts that I have found throughout the past almost 2 years of searching. And these are the very best at their individual fields that they specialize in. I have a multitude of guest speakers in this course, such as my copywriter. Would you like to know how she writes every single one of her listings and every single one of my listings? Well, she has developed a 1-hour video specifically for you to show you how she goes through this process and how you too can make click-worthy listings. Would you like to know how I run my PPC? I've brought in one of my PPC specialists who not only manages some of my campaigns, but also has managed other $5 million plus accounts. He has specifically done an 8-part video series on explaining the in-depths of PPC and also how you can structure and manage every single one of your campaigns. Would you like to know higher end things such as how to make the most out of lightning deals? I have one video, for example, in this course where I show you live a lightning deal that I run, how I run it, and how it made me over $2,000 in that short 6-hour window. Would you like to know how I launch my products? Would you like to know how I maintain my listing as a whole and how I continue to grow it? These are just some of the many topics that I touch on in the Private Label Masters course. So if this sounds interesting to you, make sure to click the link below in the description and enter your email to be the first to know when this course will be launched to the public. I'm also excited to let you know that I'm going to be giving out 3 free courses. Now, what do you have to do to be eligible for one of these 3 courses? Very simple. Make sure to like every single one of these whiteboard video series and leave a comment on every single one. At the end of the video series, I'm going to pick 3 winners to have this Private Label Masters course free of charge. Now, you are under no obligation to purchase this course once it comes out. I will continue to bring the very best content like I have been to you, the public, so that you too can build your own physical products brand on Amazon.com. So again, if you've enjoyed this whiteboard mini series on Amazon FBA, make sure to like this video, leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you guys in episode 4.